to Emotional Alchemy, and I'm your host, April Rodriguez. I hope everyone's had a great week, and I hope that my reading has been able to help you. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about emotional alchemy. Before I get into emotional alchemy, I want to talk a little bit about what alchemy itself is. Alchemy is an ancient science of transformation of matter. It was the precursor to chemistry. Scientists were trying to often turn lead into gold, so they were trying to turn a matter into something that was more beneficial to them. So by that definition of alchemy, emotional alchemy is the transformation of your emotions into something that's more beneficial to you. So it's converting an emotion into something that's actually helpful. Or another way of saying it would be finding the silver lining or finding the good in a situation. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an example from my personal life. I've been trying to work towards being my own boss. I had an appointment this week for a sewing lesson and the person forgot, which is fine, not a big deal. That happens all the time, right? Anybody who has their own business knows that just happens. Clients, for whatever reason, can't make it or forget or whatever. Usually that can throw you into a tizzy or make you upset or ruin your day, but it doesn't necessarily have to. What I ended up doing was since I had set everything up, I took some pictures and took the time instead to make an advertisement for sewing lessons, which was awesome because I got a bunch of people who said that they were interested in doing it. It was something that could have been terrible or could have ruined my day or could have just, made me so mad, but I did my best to try to turn it into something amazing. And to me, that's what emotional alchemy is. Taking a situation and finding the good in it. Speaking of emotional alchemy, though, I also wanted to talk about something that I was going through this week as well. All of us have friends or family that come to us or want to talk to us about their day or what's going on in their life or their problems. I mean, that's just what we do with our relationships, right? A lot of times, though, if you're someone who people come to you a lot, you might get your feelings confused with theirs. People talk to you about their sorrows or their losses or their emotional releases or feelings they don't know what to do with. It can be hard to not try to relate yourself to them or to compare it to your own life and see if those are the patterns in your own personal life. By doing so, you almost kind of apply it to your life and think it's happening and then create dramas because of it. So with situations like that, I think it's really important not to absorb the energy of the people you're talking to, but to let it kind of wash through you, to let it run through you as opposed to letting it just sit and fester and stay when it's not really meant to stay there. I think another part of emotional alchemy is being able to let emotions kind of wash through you. Understand that they're there and understand that they're something that everybody feels and may not even know why they feel them, but they're not necessarily not every emotion has to stay and sit with you for a long time. You're allowed to let emotions go. So I think it's important that after talking with people, a friend, family member, it doesn't matter, about their problems, that you take a few minutes afterwards to kind of decompress yourself. I think it's important to take some deep breaths, make sure you understand that those are their emotions and not necessarily yours. It's definitely a practice of letting the feelings wash through you instead of getting stuck and muddled. So after an emotionally draining experience, you might want to take some time alone to ground yourself in your world, your thoughts, and your feelings. For me, having mantras like, I'm good enough, or everything is okay, I have what I need, I'll be okay, are really helpful just to repeat and to remind yourself of the good you do have around you, instead of being sucked into the negative energy or the negative vibes. In astrology this week, we find ourselves with a sun in Pisces, and Pisces are very imaginative, creative. They're the last of all the signs. Pisces carries a little bit of all of the other signs with them. So when the sun is in Pisces, we might find ourselves a little more emotional or wanting to be a little more dreamy or creative or imaginative. This is a great time for fun, creative projects. It's a great time for tapping into your emotions, for connecting with your relationships and things of that nature. This week, the moon itself, it'll be in Aquarius for 2 days, in Pisces for 3 days, and then in Aries for the last 2 days of the week. Now, the big thing is that we have a new moon in Pisces on Wednesday. So new moons typically are a good time for setting your intentions for the month, starting plans, figuring out what you might want to manifest. With the new moon in Pisces, it's almost a time to take a leap of faith into something you've always wanted to believe in. Wednesday's new moon in Pisces is a great time for you to set a plan in motion to start loving yourself more, to give yourself a little more patience and allow yourself to be just who you are. It's also a great time to start a creative project, especially if you haven't already. The new moon in Pisces is also a great time for doing peaceful, rejuvenating activities, maybe going to a spa or treating yourself to a massage, something that's just going to make you feel in a more peaceful state of mind. It also is going to be really helpful for seeing through someone else's perspective. If you've been fighting with someone or if you've been having a hard time with someone else, it'll be a great time for you to kind of see it from their point of view and be able to open your mind just a little bit. It's also a great time for starting new routines, breaking out from what you usually do and trying something different. Also, with the new moon in Pisces, I would take note of your dreams. Dreams are, especially for Pisces, they're so dreamy, and dreams can give so much information about ourselves that we didn't even realize. So this week would be a great time to just journal on your dreams a little bit and see what they're telling you. Since Pisces is a water sign, you might also want to be mindful of the emotional side of Pisces. You might feel a little more in tune with your emotions, which you're not used to, so just be wary of that. And like I said, the cards always know what's going on. So I'm going to tell you about the cards I pulled for the week of March 3rd through March 9th. The first card I pulled was the Seven of Pentacles reversed. Now, upright, usually the card represents that you've invested into long-term rewards, you've worked hard to build the foundations, and now you're taking a look back and seeing what you've built and seeing what is actually coming to fruition and what you want to keep investing your time into. The card is a sign to take a break and really look back and review everything that you've been working on. Now, reversed, it indicates that your energies might feel a little scattered. You may have been investing into a lot of things and now you're not really sure which to keep investing into. You've been trying really hard to build foundations in something, but it doesn't seem to be giving back to you in the way that you were hoping. Now, this isn't a sign to give up completely. It's just a sign to kind of look and see where you want to invest your energies. Are you investing into things that mean something to you, that bring you passion and happiness and give something back to you? Or are you investing in something that's only taking and taking and taking from you? This is a great week, especially with new moon in Pisces and the ability to release your emotions, or at least recognize your emotions. This is a great opportunity to reflect back on that. The second card I picked is the Three of Swords. Now, the Three of Swords typically represents heartbreak, pain, sorrow, loss, emotional release, but the great thing about the Three of Swords is that it reflects a time where you're ready to move past that. Once you've experienced it, you know that it's beneficial to your growth and you're going to use it to move forward positively. Like I said, with the new moon in Pisces reflecting, a time of tapping into your emotions, and the card saying that there will probably be an emotional release this week, the Three of Swords reflects a time of temporary loss or emotional release or some kind of a pain. So I'm guessing there's going to be some kind of a hardship this week, but even you know that you'll be able to handle it, that these kinds of pains are necessary to grow and to evolve, that things can't always be happy or else you won't be able to appreciate the good things. So with the two cards in mind, I see someone who might be feeling like their energies are scattered. There's a million things to do or to work on. It's similar to last week where we find ourselves a little uncertain about where our best options lie, but unlike last week, the Three of Swords indicates a major emotional release this week. Probably clearing up whatever emotional backup or muck that there was in there. Of course, once that stuff's released, you're able to think more clearly. It reminds me of that episode of Parks and Rec where Leslie just finished that huge carnival that she did, and they wanted her to come up with another amazing idea. And they go on that camping trip, and she's trying so hard to think of ideas. She's been awake, she hasn't slept, and Ron forces her to sleep, and she finally comes up with a million ideas after she's done with that. That's what I see. The Seven of Pentacles reversed really shows someone who's been working hard to get something, and now they're at a place where they can stop and look and see what they've done. And that's where I see Leslie. She finally finished that event, so she's able to look back, but she's still tired from all that. She needs a rest to be able to clear her mind. Funny enough that we're talking about emotional alchemy this week because the cards indicate a huge emotional release, especially with the new moon in Pisces. It's a great time to set your intentions of working with your emotions, learning not to let them scare you. I know sometimes it can be scary to have overwhelming emotions, but the more we practice being in control of our emotions, the better we are going to be at it. So this week, be courageous and be strong when it comes to your emotions. Let them wash through you. Don't hold on to them too long. Don't let them ruin your mood or take your peace. Instead, try working on changing your emotions, transforming them into something positive or that's going to be beneficial to you. With the new moon in Pisces and with what the cards say, it looks like you'll have a good opportunity to practice this week, and we'll see how it goes. If you're having trouble seeing the positive or turning the emotions into something beneficial, send me a message and I'll help work you through it and see if we can come up with something together. So that's my forecast for the week. And before I go, I just wanted to remind you guys that I do spiritual readings. We can do it in person, or I have Google Duo, so we can do it online, or I can just send you a written report depending on what works for you. And that's $25, and you can send me a message on Young Mystic or Modest Betty. I also wanted to remind everyone that I do stick and poke tattoos. I have my March flash sheet up, but I'm not restricted to that. If you have a tattoo in mind and you want to work with me, send me a DM and I'm more than happy to set up an appointment. I also have some tarot workshops coming up. I have a Tarot Basics crash course, which is on Sunday, March 10th, 2019 at 3 p.m., and that's $10. If you have a journal, you can bring it. I only have 8 spots left, so send me a DM to reserve yours. My Tarot Basics crash course goes over the major and minor arcana and kind of goes into more depths about the card, kind of helping you to understand them a little bit better. I also have my tarot workshop the last Sunday of every month, and the next one is March 31st at noon. That one is all about creating a safe space for your readings, whether it be for yourself or for a client or a friend or whoever. This month we'll be learning to meditate for ourselves. We'll be doing a little bit of journaling, and then we're going to practice some nature altar making. So we'll find little things from nature, make our little altars to kind of create a happy, pleasant environment for us when we do our reading. And then we'll end it all with a 3-card reading. If you're interested in participating, the tarot workshop on the 31st is $10, and it is at noon in Pico Rivera. Please send me a DM if you want to reserve a spot for that one. I am taking reservations for that one. And lastly, I wanted to talk about our home gallery workshop that we have coming up, and that is on March 30th, 2019 from 12 to 3. Anthony will be teaching mixed martial arts and spray paint. He's such a great mixed martial arts teacher. You should really see him. The kids love him. They love coming back. It's so much fun. Builds their confidence, makes them feel like they are safe out in the world. He also does spray paint. If you haven't seen his incredible spray paint paintings, go look at his Instagram account at 109bc_Spartacus. And he does these outer space spray paintings with comic book characters collaged on, but he puts a little foam board in it so they pop out. They're really amazing, and they're fluorescent. They're so cool. And I'll be doing watercolor and collage, and we have Petey, who's going to be teaching some photography lighting. So if you're interested in that, send me a DM and you can reserve a spot for that, and those are all $10 as well. And that's it for Perspective Shift today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for listening last week. I really appreciate all the love that you guys have been showing me. I can't tell you how much it means to me. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Bye.